So religion is fun. You all want to talk about religion? Okay, here we go. So I was dating somebody and they asked me, "What's your religion?" And I said, and they said, "Do you mind if I ask you about your religion?" And I was like, "Not at all, but it does require that I take a deep breath, sigh, and lecture you. Is that okay?" They're like, "Sure." And I was like, "Okay, so I believe that nothingness is a paradox. You know what a paradox is?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, so repeat after me. This statement is false." And they were like, "This statement is false." And I was like, "Yeah, so it's, what is, do you know what that means?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "It means that what you just said is wrong." And they're like, "Okay." And I was like, "Okay, but if what you said is that what you said is wrong, and it's wrong, that means it's right, doesn't it?" They're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, so if what you said is what you said is wrong and it's right, that means it's wrong, right?" They're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, so it switches back and forth. That's the paradox." And then they started laughing maniacally. So, that was really cute, but also that's what a paradox is. And I believe that nothingness is like that. It switches back and forth. You know what else switches back and forth? A clock. They all have little pendulums that switch back and forth. Um, and you need them inside electronics, because when stuff moves, it's actually just a succession of still frames. You know that on like electronics, and so somebody has to say, "Okay, next frame." Mm-hmm. "Okay, next frame." Mm-hmm. And there's actually a little thing inside your computer that does that. It's called a clock circuit. And its job is to go neener 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 endlessly. Oh, I scared my cat. I'm not sure if you could see him. He's terrified. I'm sorry, Bagheera, you're okay. Um, anyways, so I believe nothingness is a clock circuit and it's going really, really fast. Um, Infinitely fast, actually. And I believe that it also, that there's, how do I put it? That it's not one thing, it's everything that it isn't. So it's expanding iteratively like a growing crystal. The nothingness that just was is not the nothingness that is the best way to put that. Um, and each of these states is encoded, and it's growing infinitely fast. So it's a counting machine, right? It's a binary counting machine. And I believe that what we perceive as existence is just a really long, really big number. And maybe not even like a number, but like a number family, like its own uh number line of like number family. You know how like primes go, prime numbers aren't like one, two, three. The prime number line is like the prime number line goes 2, 3, 5, 7, 13. It like skips a bunch and then it just keeps going or whatever. Um, well, that's what I believe our reality is like. Our reality is like a special kind of number, like an our reality number. And every moment of time is just the next iteration of the our reality number series. Um, and then life itself could be defined as a type of number that is not beholden to our reality, but is a subset of realities themselves, which exist as their own type of number. Sort of like how even and odd numbers, you can split the number line into the even number line and the odd number line, and they're like parallel universes that don't know each other and they have their own laws of physics. Like, every even number can be split into two integers evenly, but odd numbers can't. So they're fickle. And so we've got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And so they're parallel universe numbers. And so I believe that there are parallel universes out there because I believe reality is a counting machine. And that's my religion. I have other religions too. Just like if you go to Japan, somebody's like, yeah, I'm Buddhist. And then you see them at a Shinto temple and you're like, what the fuck? I thought you were Buddhist. And they're like, yeah, I'm Shinto too. You can be more than one religion. People don't always get that, so I'm just clarifying. And then backing up a bit, so people are like, so you don't believe in anything? And I'm like, no, I believe in nothing. And they're like, okay, so you're an atheist. And I'm like, no, I believe in nothing with a capital N. An atheist believes in nothing, lowercase n. Two different things. Two different things. And anyways, so it is frustrating being called an atheist because I support atheists. Just like I support men who like other men. But I'm not a man and I don't like men. I'm not an atheist. Okay? I support atheists. I think all minor religions and all religious minorities, which includes non-religious entities, need to stick together. Like atheists, Satanists, all of us. Atheists, Satanists, whatever you call me, and polytheists, like we all need to be homies because the major religions don't like competition. Because who does? But I mean, they like to tell their followers, hey, those guys are going to send you to the bad place. Go and kill them. And then it's like, well, fuck, I'm just believing my religion and you're trying to fucking kill me? Like, god damn it. And then they're like, well, you're trying to send me to the bad place, so fuck you. And it's like, well, no, I'm not. That's just what your pastor says. Like, damn it. Like, you're not going to go to hell for being friends with me. And you're probably actually going to go to hell for trying to kill me. So stop being a jerk. You know? And, like, if you're legit afraid that talking to me is going to send you to the bad place, don't talk to me. Because it's a waste of both our times. I don't want to hear what a horrible person I am. And I don't want you to feel like you're going to the bad place. So don't do violence. Just keep a respectful 6 feet of distance, okay? Anyways, back to the fun stuff. So what this means is even if quantum theory is right and our own universe has like universes that have the same rules but an alternate historical timeline, like that multiverse, there's the other kind of multiverse where on the number line something similar to our reality yet distinct enough to be called its own, sort of like how the odd numbers and the even numbers are similar but also totally different and even potentially opposites exists. Like universes like that exist where like things are just fun. And that's what I believe. That's also why I believe existence is mandatory. And this is really important. Most things in the universe seem to want to become crabs, evolutionarily speaking. So if you die or unalive yourself, you'll probably become a crab and then get eaten by a seagull. So don't do that. Um, and enjoy the present because after you die, it's like wild, random chaos. That's what I believe. So I believe that I should just be alive long and best as possible. So, I'm bored and I'm just waking up. Y'all want to talk about conspiracy theories? Let's do that. So, here's a conspiracy theory. You know how, if birds, you know how, like, feathers are basically bird hair? And underneath their bird hair, they have scales. And, sorry, they also have 3 toes. That's why I'm holding up the number 3. And if they had fingers, they'd have 3 fingers. And, birds are, like, actually scaly little fucks, like lizards, and their closest non-avian relative alive today, so their closest non-bird that they're related to, is actually crocodiles and alligators. And, you know how the aliens, the space aliens, the Greys, according to the lore, the gray-colored Greys are all actually mass-produced androids. And the progenitor Greys, the ones that are actually, like, organic, are, like, scaly and orange. And you know how Greys only have 3 fingers? And you know how when humans evolved, we all pretty much lost our hair, except for this, like, decorative mating display on the top of our head? Food for thought. What if Greys are basically just, like, you know, dinosaurs, but if they evolved to be, like, simian? Simian being, like, hominids. Hominids being, like, humanoid. You know? And so, what if they weren't just, like, alien dinosaurs that evolved a humanoid appearance, and they came from animals that were fairly similar to Earth dinosaurs, but, like, not? What if they were our dinosaurs? Hear me out. What if our dinosaurs never got hit by that meteor in the first place, and they evolved into something like a dino-human, but not like your standard reptilian that wants to take over the earth and replace, like, presidents or whatever. Not like lizard men, but like big eyes, tiny little mouths that are a little bit beak-like, and you know, like scales instead of skin, 3 fingers, maybe a tiny little thumb, and basically just like, the Greys. Because, you know, bird feet are usually orange too. So, it makes sense if they're featherless, humanoid birds, with giant, like, bird owl eyes almost, that they would, look like that. And then, what if they developed faster than light travel, and giant motherships, and went out and colonized the universe, and then because faster than light travel also means going backwards in time, they went diagonally back in time to a younger alternate timeline, which was like the one they're from, except it had them in it in the past, and in the one they're from, they're not down here. But in the one they went to, they're down here. And then, because they're down here, and they have, like, these massive, like, planetary, terraforming projects, and, like, giant motherships and shit with, like, their own gravitational pull because they're so massive, they, like, fuck up the orbit of the asteroids and shit in the Earth solar system, and then cause that meteor that goes around and hits the Earth, right? And makes the dinosaurs go extinct. So in this timeline that they visited because they had faster than light travel, their own home planet never evolves them. But they still keep tabs on it because it's their old home planet. And they're just, like, you know, sentimentally attached to it. And then us mammalian fucks, with our 5 fingers and our weird rat ancestors, take over instead of them. Because a humanoid with a big brain, probably not as big as the Greys, but still big, is just a part of the ecosystem, like an inevitable ecosystem niche that evolves given enough time on a planet with life and the conditions that our planet has. Right? And what if this cycle of causing your own extinction because you develop time travel, because you try to colonize the universe, didn't happen only once with the Greys, but what if with the Mantis people from popular fiction / popular conspiracy theories or whatever, what if they evolved in a universe where fungus never learned to decompose trees until after the giant horse-sized centipedes and shit evolved their own humanoid, except mantis humanoid, or mantis humanoid, ancestor. And what if those mantises created the Greys because they went back in time, did a donut in space, and then went to study their own history, but they tracked something in on their foot, and it was future fungus. And the future fungus evolved because of their frickin' time travel and their bad hygiene, and it became the fungus that learned to decompose the scale trees that created the carboniferous, that, due to their inability to decompose, stored all of the carbon dioxide and allowed for the high oxygen content in the atmosphere that allowed for bugs to get so big. So because they introduced time-traveling fungus, they accidentally erased the Carboniferous era, which is where they evolved, and because the atmosphere was no longer big enough for giant humanoid insects to evolve, they couldn't exist anymore. And then the Greys took their place, because after the bugs went away, the birds took over. And then, birds, being slang for dinosaurs, they did their own fuck up, and they caused a giant asteroid to hit the Earth. Yeah. And then the birds went away, and the rats took over. Rats being slang for us, monkeys, and all that shit. And then, when we cause our own demise, maybe with nuclear weapons, time-traveling nukes, or time-traveling robots, or who the fuck knows what else, something else is gonna take over. Like octopuses. And then we're gonna have, like, the actual, like, Inklings from that Nintendo game, the Squidlings. They're gonna take over. Yeah. For real. Food for thought, man. What if it's just a bunch of, like, time travel Jenga, and all the space aliens that are, like, in their UFOs monitoring Earth, they're just like, how many fucking times is a humanoid gonna evolve on this freaking planet? How many times is someone gonna travel back in time, fuck up their own evolution, and create another type of humanoid to take their place? This planet is just breeding humanoids who keep traveling through time and erasing themselves and getting replaced by other humanoids. What if that's the shit? And that's why aliens are here. Because this is their alien home planet, and they just time traveled themselves out of existence. Hi, Mom.
You need to quiet down.
Okay, sorry.
You have been on my nerves all morning.
Sorry.
Just do it.
Mom says I'm too loud. She normally loves conspiracy theories, but she's kind of in a bad mood today. We got home from a vacation, and it wasn't really a vacation. So, it kind of drained the stamina batteries. And we're like two different people. Like, when I'm tired, like, you wouldn't know it. Because I spend all my energy trying to, like, focus. So I'm like a nuclear reactor. When I get tired, I have a meltdown, and my power output goes through the roof. My mom's like a coal power plant. When she gets tired, it gets cold. But for me, all that energy is spent on coolant. So, yeah, sorry about that.